Jimmy Matejek with Montgomery Gentry here at the Peppermill Casino. Just after sound check, getting ready for our show tonight here in the concert hall. This is a 100-watt bolt, just like mine. Got it from the guys top of 2010, so I've already put a full year touring on it. It's worked perfect, not a crackle, not a pop, nothing falling off, nothing falling apart, even considering the rigors of the road, so it's built like a tank. I just gotta say that it was perfect for my needs from day one. A lot of people think, might have a misconception that an amp that has more than one channel is too modern and doesn't cop vintage tones, and this should be an amp that will prove them wrong. There's no vintage clean tone you can't get with it. There's vintage Fender in there, vintage Vox AC30 type tones. Crunch channel picks up where that leaves off. All classic tones, and of course with the lead channel, the sweepable mid, you can get everything from a real mid-prominent fluty sounding solo tone to scooped mid, modern metal if you want. The thing that has really worked out great for me is the cabinet emulated line out. A lot of times gigging with this thing live out here with Montgomery Gentry, we've just mic'd a cabinet. We haven't had an opportunity to sit down and explore the line out here, but elsewhere when I gig with it, a lot of times we've taken an A-B comparison of a mic on the bolt cab versus the line out, and almost every time a sound man will choose the line out. It's just that good. It's really,
you ever
really.
Experienced that with any other amp?
No, not at all. Usually a line out means running into another power amp, and there's just no way to go direct. Even some of the ones that have claimed that you can, it still sounds scratchy and sounds like a toy. This thing, there's really almost no comparison. There's really no difference between the mic'd cab and the line out. Recording, it works great. By the time you put a good reverb or an ambient sound, a room sound to the line out, I mean, you couldn't tell it. Nobody could tell the difference. As far as the feel of it, with the circuitry, the amp still feels like a cranked amp, even line out. So there's no difference in tone.
We get a lot of comments like that. Yeah.
Yeah, it's really
real convenient to be able to do that.
Exactly.
So talk about your guitar playing.
Well, my guitar playing gives me a headache, and I just got finished giving you a headache with it.
No,
give everybody else a headache.
No, I mean with the amp.
Well, mostly I'm a Telly and Strat player on usually most of my other endeavors, just because it's a middle ground of being able to cop a lot of tones. So a lot of times I'm playing through an older Fender, or years ago I was playing through older Voxes and Trainers. I've got a Softtech head, and they've all basically become paperweights. My Softtech head has become a paperweight this size. My Fender Twins become a really, really heavy paperweight. So the clean channel running, what's great about it is if I'm playing, my normal rig would be maybe a Telly or a Strat into a Twin or something similar, or a Tweed basement type circuit, and I'm running a lot of stomp boxes in front of it. Well, I can do the same thing with the clean channel here and ignore the effects loops. But I can also switch to the crunch channel or the lead channel and run another set of delays into the effects loop in the back and run them in parallel. So there's no tone loss, there's no no need to take your 100% tube signal and run it straight through the digital domain and go through 100% conversion and then converting back to analog and ruin the sound of the head. You can switch series, parallel effects loops. Sometimes I've even ran a set of pedals in series on the clean channel and assigned that loop to channel 1, where space and time permits to carry this much stuff to a small club in Nashville. Sometimes it doesn't. And then I'll run a separate set of delays in parallel on another loop and assign that loop to either the crunch or the lead channel. So there's a million and one things to do with the loops, the assignable loops. Separate reverbs on each channel. Separate reverbs is fantastic. Spring reverb is what I gear to from being an old, basically a Fender amp guy. So spring reverb on the clean channel is fantastic. The hall reverb on the lead channel is just, I mean, I don't know what to say. It's just all there. It's literally like carrying 3 separate amps, 3 different rigs to the gig, which I used to do when I was younger and a lot more full of energy. I don't want to say how many years ago. No need for that.
I remember in the first email that you sent us, you sent it at 2 in the morning, the day that you got that amp.
Oh yeah, I fired it up and I kept going. I had to break myself away to send you that email.
So it was that cool.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
That's great.
The thing is, it feels good at such low volume. I mean, I don't know how you guys did it, but
well, that's Jeremy.
I mean, just firing it up right there in the house, and I didn't want to drive the dogs crazy, drive my wife crazy. Although they're used to it, they can sleep through me playing at quite a high volume. But yeah, I couldn't stop. I was a kid on Christmas Day, kind of the way I feel today. I don't know where I can even go from here. The one thing I haven't explored is the switchable power, but that's definitely got me curious after playing this, test driving this 50 watter today. And ironically, the voicings that you guys have incorporated on the 2 channels is usually the voicings that I use on my 100 watt. I usually wind up, I usually just use my ear. There's no bad sound in here. I mean, what I love about it, you can set everything straight up. You can start off setting all the tone knobs to noon.
Right. And
flip through voicings, and there's no bad sound in it. A lot of times what works for me is I like the Class A Vox setting on the clean channel, which is incorporated here, and I wind up going for the Marshally Crunch on the Crunch channel, the Marshally Drive,
right.
And that's in here also. But once again, it wouldn't bother me if it wasn't, because I've spent enough time with it. I can dial in whatever I need from it, and I know there's no bad sound in there. So the solo boost is fantastic. Eliminates problems with running a standard amp with a series effects loop, an old school type effects loop, and having to run a 20-foot cable all the way out here to run a volume pedal, and then 20 feet more cable to go back to the amp. It's done. Set the solo boost for global volume boost, and it's done. There's your solo volume.
So what do you think of the using the foot controller?
Foot controller is fantastic, and one thing, you know, I really should back up and say that there are times when I do switch voicings. One nifty thing that is fantastic is being able to switch the voicings on the fly with the foot controller.
Right.
So I do wind up using other voicings, but I still wind up to the ones that I was mentioning. The foot controller is great. Being able to see where everything is at a glance is fantastic. Knowing if the solo boost is on or off. On the 100-watt controller, being able to see exactly which loop is activated. I don't even have to get behind the amp. Yeah. In case I accidentally flip the switch or a setting, I can check it all right from here, which I don't have them assigned to channels here. But the foot controller is awesome. Foot controller is rugged. I mean, there's no way that thing's breaking apart on the road. It's built just like the amp. So I've